Removing fuel subsidies saved Nigeria from bankruptcy. Tinubu. April 29, 2024. President Bola Tinubu said, on Sunday, that Nigeria would have gone bankrupt if his administration had not discontinued fuel subsidy payments. He said though the policy came with economic pains, it was in the best interest of Nigerians. Tinubu spoke at the Special World Economic Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Upon assuming office last May, Tinubu implemented the discontinuance of subsidies on petrol as prescribed by the immediate past administration of Muhammadu Buhari. He said the move would save the government money for infrastructural expansion. However, this move sparked collateral instability in the value of the naira and heaped hardship on Nigerians as food prices soared. At the WEF, Tinubu argued that removing the petrol subsidy was a necessary action for my country not to go bankrupt and to reset the economy towards growth. Acknowledging the difficulties posed by the decision, the Nigerian leader told attendees that his government implemented parallel arrangements to cushion the impact on vulnerable citizens. Yes, there have been drawbacks. Yes, there was the expectation that a greater number of people would feel the difficulty, but, of course, I believed it was their interest that was the focus of government. It is easier to manage and explain the difficulties, but along the line, there was a parallel arrangement to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal on the vulnerable population of the country. We shared the pain across the board. We cannot but include those who are very vulnerable. Luckily, we have a very vibrant, youthful population interested in discoveries by themselves, highly ready for technology, good education, and committed to growth, Tinubu explained. He also described the unification of the naira exchange rates as necessary to remove the artificial element of value in our currency. The move, he argued, enabled the local currency to find its level, compete with the rest of the world's currencies, and remove arbitrage, corruption, and opaqueness. Tinubu also emphasized the need for stability and economic prosperity in West Africa, saying, "We need to trade with one another, not fight each other. It is very, very necessary and compulsory for us to engender growth, stability, and economic prosperity for our people." Tinubu on Sunday made a clarion call to pay attention to the root causes of poverty and instability in Africa's Sahel region. Tinubu also argued that achieving regional stability and growth will only happen through sustained economic collaboration and inclusiveness. The rest of the world needs to look at the fundamentals of the problem, not just ordinary geopolitically, but it has to go to the root. Has the world paid attention to the poverty level of Sahel and the rest of ECOWAS? Have they helped the infusion of capital and paid adequate attention to the exploitation and opportunities availed by the mineral resources available? Tinubu queried when he fielded questions during a panel session at the Special World Economic Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. While calling on bigger economies to actively participate in the promotion and prosperity of the region, he urged global collaboration and inclusiveness to drive capital formation and economic opportunities in Africa. He recounted the efforts made in his past 10 months as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government and how he has used Nigeria's influence to discourage unconstitutional changes in government and ease sanctions for improved trade and economic prosperity in the region. Tinubu singled out the fear of lack of capital in Africa and stigmatization for urgent attention through inclusive programs that drive economic opportunity. He emphasized the importance of economic collaboration, saying, "The capital formation necessary to drive the economy, like agriculture, food security, innovation, and technological advancement, must be an inclusive program of the entire world. No one should be left behind." Over 1,000 leaders from business, government, and academia from more than 90 countries are attending the high-profile forum in Riyadh, which is expected to address pressing global challenges across 3 core themes: revitalizing global collaboration, fostering inclusive growth, and catalyzing action on energy for development.
President Tinubu of Nigeria, I think you took over the presidency last year in May, so you have had 11 months as president. You took over at a critical time for Nigeria. The economic situation was tough, but you took measures from the beginning to then recalibrate the economy. You cut the subsidies on fossil fuels. You also took aims at dealing with the currency. And of course, it's been a tough year economically for Nigeria, but I guess you're now seeing also some light in the end of the tunnel. And Nigeria being such an important economy, not only in Africa, in the world, how do you see now the prospects, and what are your next steps to really make Nigeria's economy grow further?
Thank you very much. Salam alaikum. And let me, in addition, join in congratulating the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for putting this opportunity together. I know it's not easy. For Nigeria, we are immensely consistent with our belief that the economic collaboration and inclusiveness is necessary to engender stability in the rest of the world. Concerning the question of the subsidy removal, there's no doubt that it was a necessary action for my country not to go bankrupt. One, to reset the economy and the pathway to growth. It is going to be difficult, but the hallmark of leadership is taking difficult decisions at the time it ought to be taken decisively. That was necessary for the country. Yes, there will be blowback. There is expectation that the difficulty in it will be felt by a greater number of the people. But once, I believe it was their interest that is the focus of the government. It is easier to manage and explain the difficulties. Along the line, there is a parallel arrangement to really cushion the effect of the subsidy removal on the vulnerable population of the country. We share the pain across board. We cannot but include those who are very vulnerable. Luckily, we have a very vibrant, youthful population interested in discoveries by themselves and highly ready for technology, good education, committed to growth. We were able to manage that and partition the economic drawback and the fallout of the subsidy removal. Equally, it engendered transparency, accountability, and physical discipline for the country. And that, to me, is more important to focus on what direction we should go. And we pursue that rigorously. The currency management was necessary equally to remove the artificial element of value in our currency. Let our local currency find its level and compete with the rest of the world currency and remove arbitrage, corruption, and opaqueness. That's what we did. At the same time, that's a two-engine problem in a very turbulent situation for the government. But we are able to manage that turbulence because we prepared for inclusivity in governance and rapid communication with the public to really see what is necessary and what you must do. Today's forum is equally valuable for us to share experiences and share the hope of the future. What is missing? And I'm glad the kingdom rely on the window, the word collaboration and inclusiveness. The capital formation that is necessary to drive the economy, like agriculture, food security, innovation, technology advancement, must be an inclusive program of the entire world. No one should be left behind. The fear of lack of capital in Africa, stigmatization, and I'm glad the world is recognizing the need that the type of population growth that Africa experiences, the diversity of its resources, must be married with its economic opportunity. We must collaborate to do that, and that is what we are doing so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you also, Mr. President, for underlining so much the importance of inclusiveness, even in a situation where you have to go through necessary structural changes.
All right, President Bola Tinubu there at the World Economic Forum, insisting, as he has always done, that Nigeria believes in collaboration and inclusiveness, to propel economic growth. He also talked about the fact that it was important to remove the fuel subsidy to reset the economy, and as well as remove the artificial elements that had affected our currency. I mean, what better place to sound these notes than the World Economic Forum, which is a gathering of intellectuals, business, and government individuals across the world, talking about robust inclusiveness for sustainability of our people and the planet.
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is a very good outing for the president, and at the risk of sounding patronizing, I think that I will join all the others who applauded him at the end of his submission. I like the fact that his submission, of course, came as it ought to be before that of the president of Rwanda. I mean, Rwanda will be our small, friend, down there, towards, Central Africa. So I think that president spoke very well. I think that he represented very well. If he was looking for a global platform to explain certain policy decisions that he has taken, I think that he found the right one. in Saudi Arabia this morning. And I do not know if any other person, given that he believes in teamship, I do not know that if any other person would have delivered the message better than he did, especially on fuel subsidy removal, and why, as a leader, that what was important for him is to take a decision, no matter how tough it might be, to take that decision at the right time. And then he also explained the issue of the Naira, two important, policy, developments in Nigeria. And he explains it, that, hey, let's remove arbitrage. We did what we did because we wanted to remove arbitrage and opaque dealings, in the administration, in monetary matters. And let the Naira find its level and compete globally. But of course, other things that he may not necessarily explain to them, because the gentleman who coordinated, who moderated, said that, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? That's the part that the president maybe didn't explain in full. But at least he said that what is important for the people is constant communication to explain it. Definitely. The jury is still out there as to if that has been done very well. But I commend what the president has done. I think that he represented very well. And that he deserves the applause.
Absolutely.
Just to quickly touch on it, when we talk about the fact that, WEF is focusing this year on global collaboration, on growth and energy for development. Towards the end of his speech, he said a big thing in Africa and even in Nigeria is the fear of lack of capital and stigmatization. And we're slowly coming out of that. Talking about the fact that he didn't want Nigeria to go into bankruptcy, and that was one of the reasons why they removed fuel subsidy. Honestly, I'm very happy with this speech. It makes me feel a bit confident this morning, even though I might have to go queue.
He did signal about he's also feeling the pain and the importance of fiscal discipline for Nigerians, but I also think there's importance of fiscal discipline for the federal government.
Definitely. That's the Jagaban that we know, and he didn't know.
Thanks for tuning in to Smart Okason TV show. Keep exploring, stay curious, and never stop getting the latest information happening around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to keep the intellect flowing. Until next time, keep sharpening and be smart.